I love San Francisco. I'm not entirely in love with what's happening to it, but it's still there. It's the environment and the vibe, and it still has bits of what was, but not a lot. But it's still there, and that's what I gravitate towards.
That was skincare professional and San Francisco native Darryl Lim. I'm Jeff, and this is Storied San Francisco. Every week on this podcast, we bring you photographers, musicians, doctors, and other San Franciscans talking about living, working, and doing their thing here. It's a way to get to know your neighbors. And now we have merch. If you go to the store on our website, storiedsf.com, you can find t-shirts, hats, and koozies with a logo that Jim Murphy designed for us. They were printed in San Francisco by local shop Babylon Burning, whose owner Mike Lynch will be featured on an upcoming episode. Welcome to episode 43, part 1. In this podcast, Darryl walks us through growing up in North Beach. He shares stories of his first coffee, his first clubs, the schools he went to, and some of the colorful San Francisco characters he misses. Here's Darryl.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff I loved as I got older. I just loved growing up in North Beach. I love the first coffee I ever had in my life was an espresso at Cafe Trieste. And then when I was in 5th grade, I went to the first class of the hippie school is called Rooftop School. And it was just, and we call all of our teachers are all hippies. They had big old beards and long hair, and they all the women wore like these moo patched up dressy things, and we had chickens that we had to take care of. We called everybody by all the teachers by their first name, and we sang this folky opening song. We didn't sing the Pledge of Allegiance. We sang like some "Open the Door and Come On In" song with a guitar. It was really funny, but it was. And we had one period where we would go to the park every day, and it was hippie school, and it was amazing, actually.
I want to go to that school. It sounds great.
When they started, it isn't that way anymore since it became part of the school system completely.
Right.
And they changed the curriculum, and they hire proper teachers now. But we had this amazing, like, it was just the same kinds of people, the people that hung out at City Lights. And like we had this one teacher, Mr. Nice. Oh my God, that was the funniest thing.
Was that his real name?
Yes, his name was Mr. Nice. But he was a little, I wouldn't say he was nice, he was a little, he liked kids, but they would annoy him, and he would like discipline you vocally. But he was the best storyteller, because he would visually do things when he would read stories to you, like he'd reenact the wind, and he'd reenact all the animal voices, and we loved him. I mean, he was amazing. And then when they had to discipline the kids, we had this thing that was really controversial, which when one of the kids would act up, and they would like be bullying. The bullying was handled by, they called it the hot seat. And all the ones that did something bad, they had to sit in these seats, and the entire school sat around them, which was small. We were like 3 classrooms. And then everybody would tell them like how that made them feel. So the teachers it was like this weird hippie therapy thing. Like, how did that make you feel, Tom?
But they were encouraging you to be expressive, right?
Something, I don't know, but
or
the
to
teachers,
talk about how you. I mean,
but the parents got mad, saying that it was a passive aggressive way of bullying people, reverse, because they were like being put in the middle, and it was intimidating. But they were really, some of them were really, kids can be mean. But I got a lot of that in North Beach. My uncle Ed, who raised me after my parents' divorce, he opened me to all kinds of things in North Beach, like leftists, socialists, like groups, and it also got him in a little trouble because we think he was watched for a while. But he wasn't a communist. He was just interested in everybody. he was like, I want to hear it. It really shaped my thinking. To be open and to just like, even if I don't agree with it, to listen to it.
Yeah, and hanging out in bookstores and coffee stores in North Beach, you're basically a communist.
Kinda.
No, I'm joking.
Yeah,
but that's
I
what
know.
what you're talking about.
It is
Like,
joke. But,
when in reality,
yeah,
he's
but
just like
people would see us like that, like because my, Uncle Larry at the bookstore used to babysit me at City Lights. When my uncle had to drop me off somewhere, when my dad couldn't do it or nobody was around. And
Are you
so
talking about Ferlinghetti?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was around there all the time, but it wasn't. But I didn't know anybody was anybody. It was like, as I got older and these people got famous, I was like, oh, that person used to read me stories, and then in the summers he made me go out with his hippie friends who are like my uncles. You call them uncles, but they're not really. So I went to Esalen when I was like about 10 or 11 and swim in the pools and run around naked, and which irritates like the people I've been with as I through the years now, because I run around my house naked all the time, and Rick always gets mad at me. My boyfriend gets mad because I'm like, I like clean the house in my clogs naked, and it's not that I'm doing it for any like titillating thing, but it's like practical. You don't, all the water and cleaning.
And you're wearing clogs, so I mean.
Yeah, and I'm wearing clogs. But that got me the whole Esalen thing, and we'd let me go for like 2 weeks in the summers. And everybody goes, "How did your mother let you do that?" And my uncle said, I didn't tell her. I didn't tell your father. I just send you because I thought it was good for you. Esalen is a commune, conference center, early New Age hippie. It was built on native land that had on the cliffs these baths that funnel hot spring water onto these natural pools on these cliffs. And they used to be open 24 hours a day. Can I tell you why they don't open to 24 hours anymore?
Sure, please do.
Well, what happened one year, they did this for over 40, 50 years, and then in the last few years, some people got too high in the tubs at night, and they died boiled.
Wow.
From being high and being in the water, and they didn't know when to come out, and they drowned, and so they've stopped. They have it more regulated now because of liability. But it was magical.
Is this down near Big Sur? Is it
Yes.
that one? Yeah, so the one in Mad Men.
It's magical.
Right? Have you watched Mad Men?
Yes.
The one at the end of Mad Men.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
Yeah. That's what I thought. I just wanted to get it on.
It's magical, and the people I met when I was, it really shaped because I got my first massage there. When I was I think I was 12 or 11 or 12, and I got Rolfed, but I didn't know I got Rolfed because I was used as a test patient for Ida Rolf, the founder of Rolfing. And all these people are really, really famous now, but I didn't realize it was anything. I just she's really got big hands. She got big German lady hands. And she was kneading me really hard, but I kind of liked it.
That reaction that you'd get though when you would tell people, and including your mom, that you were going to or you had been at Esalen, was the reputation that it was just this free love hippie?
Yeah, my mom was worried that I was going to be molested by greasy hippies. I actually saw my first people making out and stuff and around.
Well, you said you were 10 when you went there, or
11.
Well, yeah, that's pretty young.
But it had a bunch of. There were a bunch of kids, and they had an organic garden, and everybody went. There was Jack LaLanne and Paul Bragg and all these people that were in they call it the naturist movement, which is just saying I want to get naked so I can get a tan everywhere and not have a tan line. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
No, and it's just, but it really had a good. This was post hippie, so it was right at the beginning, right before disco, and right after the hippie movement in San Francisco.
Kind of mid-'70s.
Yeah, so you had still all that really. I really didn't. I thought it was silly when I was a little kid, but now I go back and think they really had something, and it was really magical. The philosophy of free love. I mean, it seems very idealistic, but now I kind of look at it differently. there was if we had a little more kindness and a little more love. I know that sounds really, Pollyanna-ish, but there is something to it. If the one thing I've learned is like kindness. We're living in a time where that's just people don't give it. It's like just be nice a little bit, being open to things.
Yeah.
Being open to things. That's what I learned. Mm-hmm. Hippies would get mad when people were mean, which I loved, and they did it in that really hey man, it's not cool. You're so square. It's so funny. And it was weird. It's funny. We had cousins who were older than us that were hippies, and they were dating people in like Sly and the Family Stone and the Fifth Dimension. I'm just name dropping, but it was true, and it was funny because those people were like kind of sliding around my aunt's sandwich shop on Market Street.
Oh yeah, Quinma.
And all my cousins had long hair with bangs, and they had daisy chains.
Do you remember when Sly was a radio DJ?
When he had his mind, yeah.
That too. But do you remember when he was on the radio before he was the music? Well, before his music.
No, I just remember his music. I remember seeing him at the Fillmore. I remember seeing Aretha Franklin the first time, and it was so inspiring at the Fillmore. I remember just like that something. There was something really, really fresh and prime, and it was really primal. No, actually in school, I was invisible, really. Because it was, I think it's also, when you're like a young gay person, you're not like everybody else, but you can't really talk to anybody. And something's going on, but it's also hidden underneath things. Because, when you're 10, it's not, your sexuality doesn't come out sexual. It comes out as these little weird feelings and impulses.
Yeah, you don't always have vocabulary.
And you don't know what it is, but you're not like everybody else. So my reaction to it was to become invisible. Mm-hmm. And that's how I dealt with it all the way through high school. Mm-hmm. Until high school, high school I was pretty out. Because we had our little gay group. We had all of our we all figured out how to get like IDs, and we all went out to the clubs. I don't know how we did that. And we were like, I had no money, and my one girlfriend, she grew up in the hood, but her idol was Grace Jones. Felicia Alexander, I hope you hear me. And she got me in more trouble, but we had fun. And one day I didn't have no clothes, so she got some sheets and she made me some parachute pants. And she bought she stole some Capizios because she knew my size, and she stole some from Salvation Army. And we went to the Trocadero.
Yeah.
And I had the best time the first time. It was magic.
I was going to ask if you remember other names of clubs that you were going to in high school.
Dreamland, Oil Can Harry's. The first gay club I went to was Busby's on Polk Street, which is now a hookah shop.
Yeah.
Polk in California.
Back when Polk was gay.
Yeah, because Polk Street was very gay, and like all the hookers were at the end around like Sutter and Post, mm-hmm. and the rest of it was just like gay cabaret places. My friend, the artist Jerome, which if you look him up, you'll see his stuff. He was like an art personality. He was like a kind of like this just really crazy. You could say he was transgender, but it was more than that. It wasn't really transgender. It was like his own persona, and this happened during a period in the late 80s and 90s where there was this whole underground kind of grunge gay scene that I was very much a part of. And there are all these clubs that were just fun.
What were some of the names of those places?
God, I can't remember. There was one that used to be...
They were that good, huh?
No, they were at the End Up. And it had a really kitschy name to it. I know it'll come back to me in a minute.
Oh, so it was like a night at...
It was a night. It was a club that happened once a week for years. And my friend Tom who worked at Amoeba forever. He was the doorman, and it was the most fascinating. It was this weird grunge drag thing that I think all the boys wanted to be Courtney Love, except more dirty. But they dressed in all that baby doll dresses and nighties and ripped up like fishnets.
They write on themselves?
Oh yeah, they wrote on themselves. They wrote on their face. But Jerome made a whole lifestyle of this, and his art. He did all that weird little. Just when you look at a Jerome, you'll see it all. He has a whole page on Facebook and everything. But he had all this weird things. He would get like coasters, and he would like put like glue things on them, and then he painted, and he took pictures and did collage.
It's like his life was art.
Yeah. But it wasn't that he was the most amazing artist. It was just that it was just him being himself and doing it on things. Like he would just he'd go, "Give me your T-shirt," and then he would take out all of his markers, and he'd like mark it. But you know now all that stuff is worth a lot of money. It's so weird. He was just my weird little friend. Here he goes again. He said, "Take off your pants. I could do something to that ass." No, seriously, he was really funny. But he was such a personality, and those are the people I miss. There's like, the Mission had these characters, The white lady, she wore white, and she put white powder all over her face, and she'd walk around endlessly. And they had like the red guy with the big Mexican hat, with the red. He'd like put red makeup all over his face, and he had this skinny little mustache, and he'd just walk endlessly through the Mission. And now they're gone. Like these characters, and there's the bird guy at the 16th Street BART station. The bird guy who hand out his poems about what he thought or what he saw, and it may not. It was
the same
interesting.
guy who would always be at Adobe too, right?
Yeah, at Adobe Books, or he was at that other Buddhist bookstore down a little farther. And he was, he just fed the birds, and then you'd always have those like proper little white ladies going, "Stop feeding the birds," and he'd go, "Don't worry about it, ma'am. I'm not feeding you." But he was there all the time, and those characters are, even though they're like, it's just this interest that I miss.
Check back Thursday to hear Darryl talk about living with AIDS. Music for this episode is by Otis McDonald, a.k.a. Joe Big Ale. Film photography for the podcast is by Michelle Kilfeather. Follow Storied San Francisco on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Find all the episodes and photos of storytellers on our website, storiedsf.com. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, please rate and review the show. Send comments and suggestions to storiedsf@gmail.com. Darryl's sister Erin is one of our friends who've been doing Bitch Talk podcasts for more than 5 years now. They're celebrating their 300th episode this Saturday with a DJ, breakfast burritos, and beer and wine. The party is going to be at Fleetwood in the Tenderloin from 11 a.m. to 2 in the afternoon. Go over to Eventbrite and search for Bitches and Brunch for sliding scale tickets. Thanks for listening.